Hey guys, this is Naveen here. Welcome back to Naveen Automation Labs. So today we are going to talk about how to automate OAuth 2.0 flow with Cypress. We will try to design some basic level of framework here and some really good scripts, number of test cases that we are going to automate for OAuth 2.0 APIs. But before that, we have to understand what you mean by OAuth 2.0 flow. I have already prepared one really good video, very detailed video on OAuth 2.0. You can see on this particular screen. You can go and check this video if you really want to understand in more detail for OAuth 2.0. But I'll give you some basic idea. So let's say this is your client and this is your auth server. So client has to be authenticated. Client has to be authorized here with the help of some token. So client needs some token from the auth server so that client access all the different APIs. So otherwise you will get that, okay, yeah, this user is not authorized, or you will be getting 401 authorized, not authorized error over there. So in this case, let's say client is saying, okay, fine, I need some refresh token or something like this. So client has to provide certain information to the auth server, and certain information, for example, like we have certain information like that. Okay, what is your client ID? What is your client secret? Okay, give me the scope that you want to access, how many APIs, on which API do you want to access, on the user profile or what. And then you have to pass certain information like grant, a type also that you have to pass it over here, and along with that some other extra parameters. Those are non-mandatory parameters you have to pass. So once the client is sending these request or this particular request to the auth server will respond back with a token here, and this type of token is called a refresh token, you can say that, right? So auth server will give you one refresh token here. You can say this is called a refresh token. This is also called one access token as well. Okay, and with the help of this access token, once the client has received that, now the client can call number of APIs which are available. So let's say this is my get call, this is my post call, this is my update call, or any kind of APIs which are available. So to call these APIs, I have to pass what? I have to pass the refresh token here. So to access these APIs, we have to use this, whatever the access token or the refresh token that we have captured, then only we can use that. So first time client has to call, there is one token API that we have to call, right? And then with the help of token API, I'll be getting this refresh token or access token so that I can access. There are other APIs also available in the system, then only I can access that. So this is the typical flow of OAuth 2.0 flow. So whenever you are involved in any project where OAuth 2.0 people are using, in your dev team, you need to ask two APIs. The first API is the token API. Along with that, you have to pass client ID, client secret, scope, grant type, and some other extra information that you have to pass. And then you have to capture this refresh token or access token. Now this refresh token can be expired. It is actually configured in your system. It can be like maybe after every 15 minutes or every 10 minutes or every half an hour, it will be expired like that. So in the lower environment, you can say, okay, fine, in every 30 minutes you can expire, or maybe it's a no expire, or there is no limit for the expiration, something like this also you can do that. But in the production environment, you will be getting some session timeout because the refresh token will be expired after 30 minutes or 15 minutes, okay, according to your business requirement. So in the lower environment, you can configure it accordingly, and then just keep generating the refresh token by calling this token API, and then there are a number of APIs are available. You can execute these APIs and then start using them, right? So exactly same thing we will do with one example. So I have an example for you guys. You just simply go to this coopapps.com, something like this. I can share this URL with you later on. You have to log in. First you register with this. You just enter your email ID, password, and all such information, and then create your credentials. I am already having it, so I'll directly log in with this application. And when you go to this application, it's giving you that, okay, yeah, hey Naveen, it's your farm. This is actually a chicken farm application where you can hit number of APIs like unlock the barn and put the toilet seat down, feed your chickens, collect eggs from your chickens, and get the number of eggs collected today or something like that. But this is based out of OAuth 2.0. What you have to do, you just simply go to API, and then here you have to see this. These are the number of APIs are available. You can see that. What you have to do, you have to go to your application, and then you have to create one application here. So let's click on create another application, and let's see, I'm writing, this is my Cypress app, whatever. Okay, whatever the application name that you want to write, and redirect URL, you can write any URL. let's say NaveenAutomationLabs.com or something like this, whatever the redirect URL, because the refresh token, it's saying, okay, fine, I can give you the refresh token, but where? Client needs to provide the redirect URL or the callback URL. So simple, say, okay, fine, you give it to this NaveenAutomationLabs.com or give it to the client directly. So just as a formality, just write any website name, you can write it over here. And what is the scope? What exactly you want to do? I want to unlock the barn and then put the toilet seat screen and everything I want to access. So all certain features I want to access in the form of APIs, and click on submit after that. And then it's saying, congratulations, you have created your application. And then it will give you, this is a client ID, this is the client secret, this is your callback or redirect URL, and this is your scope of your refresh, scope of this client. And then see what you can do. You can directly generate a token and you can use this token for all the APIs. But I don't want to do in that way. I want to generate the token at the runtime with the help of these attributes that they have given. And then through the script at the runtime, I want to generate this token, and the token will be used for other APIs that I'm using it over here. It means I'll be just calling this token API multiple times or maybe a couple of times, and then get the next time I'll be getting the new token, and then I can call these APIs, right? Now, what exactly you have to do it in Postman first, I'll show you, then we will write the code in Cypress. So I'll open my Postman. So how will you do OAuth 2.0 testing with Postman? It's very simple. First of all, that you go to authorization tab, you open a new request and go to authorization tab and then open that. And here we are going to use OAuth 2.0 type of authorization. So click on OAuth 2.0. From here, what you select is that here, this is the configuration new token. You click on it and then select client credentials from here. And what is your token name? Whatever token name that you want to write, that doesn't matter. Let's say I'm writing CY token or something like this. And then what is your access token URL? So this is my access token URL, which is given by these guys. Okay, what you can do is first let's copy this client ID and I'll tell you access URL also. So this is my client ID. Okay, just remove it, and this is your client ID, right guys? This is my client secret. So copy this client secret and then paste it over here. And then scope is compulsory, or it's just mandatory, not compulsory. So you can ignore that. And you can write comma separated or space separated scope over here. So just let it be blank over here. And then it's saying, okay, fine. Then you have to send as basic auth header. Just don't change anything. And then what you do, get new access token. So just click on it. When you click on it, saying authentication completed, and click on proceed. When you click on proceed, it will give you one access token over here. Can you see that? This is your refresh token or access token. And it's saying by default, you are getting all the scopes here by default. And then it will be expired in 86,400 milliseconds, something like that, which is like 86 minutes or something, that I'm not very much sure about it. So this is what the token that you got it, and use the same token over here. Click on use token. Okay, and the same token, it will be added over here with, okay, and then you have to use as a header prefix as a bearer token like that. Okay, so this is your authentication authorized token that we have added in the form of access token. And then now whatever the API that you want to use, you can use that now. So I'll go to the API documentation, and then which API that you want to use. So let's say I want to use that, what is my user ID? It's saying retrieve the user information that tied to the access token, right? So this is my main application. Okay, this is the get call. So I'll select the get from here. After API, it's saying /me. So simple write /me here and then send this request. So when you send this request, can you see the response? It's saying the response ID is your user ID 396, email ID, first name and the last name. And the exactly same thing, it's showing it over here that your user ID is 396. Right. So what exactly I can do is first I'll hit the token, and then I'll call this API me. I'll get my user ID, and the same user ID now you have to use for the other APIs. For example, let's say API, this is a user ID that you have to pass. So this is a post call. Let's see, unlock the barn and put the toilet seat down, feed your chicken. So let's see, this is my API. So I'll just copy this API, and now it will be a post call. So I'll just go to post, and then I'll be writing, okay, this is my API. What is the user ID? The user ID is 396. So I'll be writing 396 over here. This is my post API. And then with this post API, now every time I'll be using the same token here, and then you send the request. When you send the request, see the response we are getting, yeah, 200 okay, and your chickens are fully happy, full and happy over here. And this is the response, we are absolutely getting it. So what is the flow? The flow is very simple. First, you get the token by passing the client ID and everything. And with the help of that token, you get the user ID and use the same user ID for other APIs. You can see this user ID is a variable. The same user ID is in this case. In your case, it will be 396. In my case, it is different ID. In your case, it will be a different ID on the basis of your, the credentials. And then now you can use these APIs over here like that. So two things we have to pass. One is the user ID. And another thing is that we have to pass the access token. And how will you get the access token? As I told you, you can go to your authentication tab. And this is the main token URL. This is your token API and it's a post call, right? So that is what exactly it is doing it over here, that this is my token API. I want client credentials. I'll be giving you client ID and the client secret as I shown you in the diagram, exactly same thing, that I'll be giving you client ID, client secret and grant type. Hitting the token API, you give me the refresh token. I'll be using the same refresh token to access other APIs. Simple. Now, how will you do the exactly same thing with Cypress? Same thing, you have to do it with RestAssured, HttpClient or any other third-party tool, or in Postman also if you really want to write some test cases in JavaScript. Maybe I can take a separate session on those things later on, but exactly same flow everywhere for OAuth 2.0 automation, you have to follow that. Now, what are best practices and all such things while writing the code, we will cover that now. So go to your Visual Studio Code, and what exactly I'm going to do that under my API test, or let's see, this is one under integration. I'm going to create a new folder. Let's see, this is my OAuth API, and under this OAuth API, I'm going to create a new file, and my file name I'm writing, let's see, this is my OAuth 2.js. Fine. Okay. So I'm going to write some quick test cases here. So let me just first, let me add this line here so that I'll get all the suggestions. Okay. Now see this carefully. First of all, that I'm going to quickly create one describe, and the describe is, let's see, OAuth feature APIs, something like this, whatever the name that you want to give. And this is the complete describe suite that we have created. I'm going to write my first id block, and my first id block says that let's get the token. Okay, first we are going to get the token, or token ID or access token. So I'll write get the access token test, and then put a comma, and then this is my callback. Okay, like that. Then how will you get the token? So to get the token, we have this API. See this carefully, cy.request method, we have to use it. And then let's write some request object. I'm going to create that. What type of method it is? So first I'm going to write the method is post, because when you send this request, see, this is the token API and this is a post call. And then along with that, we have to pass certain parameters from here. So I simply write that, okay, fine, this is my URL. So I'll be writing this URL is this. This is the URL. Okay. Okay, comma. And what type of method it is? Method it is post. And then see guys, these are the form parameters you have to pass, right? These are the call that, okay, this is not the JSON payload or something like this. This is a form payload. So it's saying that accept the following post fields. It means you have to pass as a form. That's why you see in the Postman also, we are filling this particular form. This is your authentication form. It's not a JSON payload or something like that. So in Cypress, how exactly you're going to handle it? So in Cypress, you have to use form, and then you have to write true over here. It means this is a form based call. And then you have to pass as a body here like this. So this is my body, colon, like that. And then see this, and it will tell you that, okay, yeah, what type of attribute that we have. So first I'm going to write that what is my client ID. So I'll write client underscore ID, colon, and what is the client ID? So my client ID is what? So I'll capture the client ID directly from the Postman that we have already used here. Let's see, Cypress app over here, like this. Okay, and then what else you want to pass? After that, I want to pass my client secret. So I'll write that, okay, yeah, this is my client underscore everything in a small letter. Okay, colon, And what is your client secret? My client secret is this. Okay, this is your client secret. You can get the client secret directly from here as well. So if you really want to go to, let's see, your application and go to the application that we have created, this is your client secret and this is your client ID. So I'll say, okay, fine, this is my client secret. After that, what else you want to pass? After that, I want to pass one more information, that is your grant type that we have to pass. So I'll do one thing. Let me just go back. See, it's saying this is a grant type. So use this grant type, body, and the colon. What is your grant type? So in grant type, what you have to pass, it's saying either you pass authorization code. See, either you pass the client underscore credentials or the authorization code. So I'll simply pass this a string client underscore credentials here. Just pass it like that. And that's it. You don't need to pass a scope. By default, the scope will be given to with the token. Okay, so this is my cy.request that I have written. After that, what exactly, when I hit this API, I'm expecting something. So I'll write a then over here. And then I'll create one response. I'll store in a response object. Now in this particular response object, first of all, that whatever the response that you are getting it, I simply print it on the console. Let's see, with the cy.log. Okay, and then I'll be using, because the response is coming in the form of JSON object, so I'll be writing JSON dot and a string file method, I'm using it, and then I'll simply pass the response here. Okay, and put a colon. And then from this particular response, what do you want? From this response, I want to access the token. So how will you get the token here, guys? So I'll write, see this line, response, go to body, and then capture the access underscore a token from there. And when you capture the token, what exactly I'm going to do at the describe level, I maintain one let variable. Let's see, this is my access underscore token variable that I'm going to initialize with blank initially. Right, and the same access token I'll be initializing over here with the help of this. So I'll be writing, okay, fine, this is my response dot a body dot access token. I'll be capturing it. It means from the response, I'll be capturing this access underscore token. You can check it over here as well. You can see on the console, and here you can see this over here, guys, that see, whenever you're hitting this API, the post API that we are using it in the response body, here you can check that, okay, I'll show you this is response when we were calling this post token API, and here is the response body. Here you will be getting this access token, and this is the access token that I want. So right, so that's why I'm saying response dot body and then dot access token. So first you access your access token. Same thing I told you in the flow also, so that you capture the response refresh token, and then the same response token I can use for further APIs. Fine, so go back to this. Now this access token, I got it. After that, what I have to do? After that, I have to hit one more API. So I simply write, okay, fine, then cy.request method, I'll be calling it. And in this particular request method, I'll simply write that, okay, closing bracket like that. And then what kind of request it is? I simply write, okay, fine, the method is get now. Why method is get? Because now I have to hit the second API. See, I'll go to the API documentation. The first I need API me API I have to call so that I can get the user ID. Because when I call this API me, then only I'll be getting user ID 396, because I don't want to hard code the value over here. So I'll do one thing that, okay, fine, this is the, what is the URL for API me. So I'll write that API URL. First of all, this is the main URL. I'll be using it first. And then instead of token, I'll say this is my API / me / me. This is the URL and this is the get call. Same thing we have done it over here. You can check. Okay. See this is the first I'll be using the get call. So I'll do one thing that I'll be using this get call from here. So I'll create a new request and then I want 396 from there. So this is my API me URL. I'll be hitting it right /me. Okay, and this is what kind of call? This is API me is a get call, and then give me the access token. So I'll do one thing. Let me just use this same way over here. So see, this is my get call, and use the same token and send the request. So when you send the request, what exactly you will be getting it? Here you can see the result. Let's send the request once again. See, ID 396. So this ID I want, so that's why I have to call this API once again, API me API, right? So API me, and this is a get call, and then the access token also that we have to pass now. So how will you pass the access token? Now you have to pass the access token in the form of headers. And what is the header name? We have to pass the header name as authorization header. Okay. So this is your authorization header colon, and you have to append with the bearer token. So now you got it, why we use bearer token plus whatever the access token that you are using it. So this is the access token that we have to use it here. Okay, so bearer token, access token, authorization colon, like that. And then you have to send the request. So when you send this request, then what exactly you will be getting it. So here I'll be writing one more response here. Now this response, we are capturing it from where? The response is coming from this particular API, from the me API. And from the me API, what you want to capture? So from the me API, I want to capture what? I want to capture it's the user ID. So how will you capture that? So I'll simple say, okay, fine, that from this particular response, and see this, go to response.body.id. So I'll write response.body.id, and then store where? In the user ID. So I'll do one thing, I'll declare one let user ID variable here, and then ID is initially blank, and I'll be using the same user ID here. So I got my user ID now, right? You can see I got my user ID. So when you get your user ID, then what? Then you can hit your second API now. Now the second API is what? This UPI, let's see, unlock the barn API. I want to use that, or feed your chicken API that I want to use that, which is a post call, because here I need user ID. That's why I need that, guys. So that's why I'm calling one extra call over here after the token. Then what exactly I'm going to do when you get this user ID, and here I can simple, let's see, I'll write cy.request once again. Okay, and before that, let's see, I'll just print this cy.log also, and then I'll say this is my user ID. I'll write that user ID plus append this, and then again I'm writing my user request, and in this particular request I'll be saying that okay, just closing bracket, ending bracket here. What type of method? Now this is a method, is a post call. I'll be using a post method, post API. Okay, what will be the URL? So URL this time is like this, API chicken feed. Okay, so I'll just copy this URL first of all from here, and I'll change the URL is after API, it's user ID, this one, this chicken feed actually. Just copy this, and after API, this one, right? But this user ID I have to replace with what? That's why I have captured the user ID here. So I'll just replace, I'll append it over here. So colon plus this, and then colon. Okay, and then append it over here with the concatenation plus operator here. And then this is the URL that I have captured. After that, do you need anything else? Yes, I need a header also, because every API will need this access token now. So I'll be using this header, and when you send this request, what will you get? Then I'll be writing dot then once again, and then I'll be capturing the response here. And what is the response that you want to capture? In the response, let's see, I just want to pass the, first of all, cy.log. I want to print it on the console, and then I want to write one expect here. I will write one assertion. The assertion is that from the response dot body dot status, it should be equal to what? It should be equal to 200. I'll write 200 here. Perfect. Okay guys, so see, in the same flow I'm writing it. Later on we can write multiple flows, so we will improve this code also in some time. So I'll repeat once again quickly. First, get the token. For getting the token, we are calling this token API, as I explained you in the diagram. Exactly same thing. You have to pass these parameters here, and then get the token. Exactly same thing I'm doing over here. This is the token API, passing all these information that you will be doing, getting it from the application, and then I'll just try to capture the response so that I can get my access token. This is important. And when I get my access token, I'm just calling the second API, that is the API me API, to get the user. So this is the API that I'll be using it for get the user ID. And when you get the user ID, store in a, see, I'm just calling this user ID API and then get the user ID. And the same user ID, I'm printing it on the console and then calling the next call, that is your chicken feed API, where I need user ID. So that's why I'm appending the user ID here, passing the authentication token once again and getting the response and then checking that, okay, the response is equal to 200 or not. This is what exactly I have done it over here. So first API me, let's see, this is your 396. And then after that, I want to do what? I want to call my API me and then chicken feed API, and this 396, I'll be passing it here and this will be a post call. So send this request and then you will be getting your chickens are now full and happy. Exactly same thing I'm doing it here, right? So I should get 200 status code. So let's run this and it is working or not. Let's see. So I'll start my Cypress, go to terminal. I think the Cypress is already running. Go to Cypress here and here you can see that, let me just close it and let's open it again. npx Cypress open and okay, so under this is the folder OAuth 2.js file is there. Just click on it and let's see it is working or not. Okay, so some error we are getting. Let's see, it's saying that 400 for token. So 400 bad request. It means some problem with the first API itself. So let's see what is the problem. It's saying 400 bad request. Client credentials are required. Okay, so let me just check the API once again. And here we have to pass client ID, client secret spelling is wrong. See, this is just a typo guys from my side. This see client secret, we have to pass it and grant type. So let's run it again. See, the first API is absolutely working fine. See here the token and everything. Now the second API is saying assertion failure. So for assertion failure, what is saying that let me just cross check the response.body.status, not the body actually, directly from the response, check the status, save it and let's run it again. Super awesome. See, it is absolutely working fine. So get the access token first. See, this is my, after calling this API, I'm getting my token. And the same token, I'm just printing it on the console, and the same token, I'm using it to get the API, get the user ID. So this is my user ID. So I'm calling this API me API, and the same user ID, see, I'm appending over here automatically. So I don't want to do any hard coded values guys. And this will be a post call. I'm getting 200 over here, and the same message you are getting, that your chickens are full and happy. Like this. Perfect. Now I have other APIs also and I want to write multiple test cases. So will you write all the test cases in the single it block? No, right? So what exactly we can improve this code in that way? I'll do one thing after this describe, right? Just like we have in test.ng JUnit before method or before test method, we have before block also before. Just like it block, we can write one before block as well. So I'll write one before here. Okay, not before each. Before each will be executed before each and every test case. It means each and every time the new refresh token will be generated. That also you can do that. So let's try with the before first and let's see how exactly it works. So before saying, okay, fine, first you generate the token and then use the same token for your further APIs. So I'll do one thing that this is my before is getting ended over here, and then generating the token work, right guys? I'll be moving this entire code for generating the token from here and client credentials and access the token from here to here, and then user ID also I want to generate in the same method only. So I'll do one thing. See, this is my user ID and till here, just cut everything and then you paste it here. Because this is my prerequisite, right? Because I need user ID also and I need first token also. So this is what I have written, right? So this is your before method. It means before all the test cases, the before method will be called. This before generate token will be called. Okay, so this is fine. And then what exactly I'm going to do that? I'm going to write my test cases. So I'll just change my test name. So let's see, my first test I'm going to write that is unlock the barn. this is my action. So unlock the barn, test number 1. And for unlocking the barn, it's saying that you have to pass the parameter as barn-unlock. So I'll pass that, okay, barn-unlock here, and then the user ID I've already captured there. Same user ID you append, and the header authentication token that we have to use it. The response code should be 200, or any response body if you really want to validate, you can do that. Now it's very simple. I just need to write so many multiple test cases I can write it. So this is my first test. Now I'll be writing another it block, and the second test I'm going to write put the toilet seat down. So let's see, this is my second test over here. Put the toilet seat down, and what is the user ID? Same user ID that I want to use it, but what is the path parameter? This time the path parameter is toilet seat down underscore or whatever hyphen down. This is done. Same bearer token, I'm getting 200 over here, and they all are post request. See, they all are post. And let's see one more. I'm going to write this chicken feed API. So I'll do one thing, that just copy this guy, right, and just paste it over here. And this time this is my chicken feed API, chicken feed test. Okay, and for chicken feed I have to write chickens hyphen feed here after the user ID. So chicken hyphen feed access token, get the response code. So 3 tests, see, systematically we have written over here like this, right? Let me just slightly shift it over here. Perfect. So this is my before method. Do all the preconditions and the prerequisites over here. Access your token ID, and from the token ID get the user ID. So this is my API to get the token. Okay, to get the token, or I would say go to get the access token actually. Okay, I think, yeah, we have to close the before over here, and this is describe is getting ended over here. Okay, let me save it and let's launch it once again. Click on OAuth 2.js. Let's see the tests are running or not. See, put the toilet seat down and the chicken feed test. Can you see that? You open this. This is my first test, getting the token. See, this is your before all. Test will be executed. This is your test body. So in the before all, the same token ID I'll be using it. See, you can see 346 AC, right? I'll be using the same 346 AC for this API also, and the for chicken feed also. The same token will be used, right guys? Now you must be thinking that, okay, why that we are using before? Because what if token got expired and then we have so many test cases? Perfect, that's the right thinking. If your token is not getting expired, in that case you can use this approach. Otherwise what you can do is you can use before each also, right? It means before each means just like before method in testng. Before each means before each and every test method, before each and every it block, it will be executed. It means every time it will generate a new token. So let's see it is working or not. See, it is absolutely working. You can just run it again. Let me just stop it and run it again. Now every time, see this, put the toilet seat down, it's saying before each. Can you see that? And then the test body, and then go to the second test once again before each, and then go to the test body, and then 2 tokens will be there. See, in this before each, you can see the token is something like this, 13E93. And in the second test before each, the token is something like this, 69E7. Because you cannot rely on the first token. You can use for every request now, for every test now, you generate a new token by passing the client ID and client secret, and there is no limit for the token actually. You can use it. This is the right way of actually doing it. If your session ID or token ID is getting let's say refresh in every 10 minutes or every 15 minutes or 5 minutes, but your still test cases are running in that case, so better you just generate a new token every time. That also you can do that. Now it's simple, up to you how many test cases you want to add. You just keep adding the it blocks with their respective APIs. Okay, one thing you can do is, guys, that this is the main app URL. This is your main service URL, right? Every time see /token/API me, then API user ID, then again API user ID for toilet seat down and chicken feed. This is a common URL. What you can do, you just go to your package and go to cypress.json file, and here you can maintain one base URL. Just simple maintain one base URL, and this is your base URL. In the same base URL, Now you don't need to write it again and again. So what you can do, you simply remove this guy from here. Now it will be very easy. Just remove it. It means you are using the token API on the base URL. Just simple keep removing it from here. So up to directly start. Okay, yeah, this is /API me. This is your, it will automatically pick the base URL from there. Now you remove this also and then save it. And then you can check it over here. See, it has started working. And let's see it is working or not. See, the token got generated. Chicken feed test, absolutely working fine here. Perfect. So unlock the barn, put the toilet seat down, and then the chicken feed test. Okay, let me just go back to test, click on stop, and let's run it again, which is absolutely working fine. Okay, because the third test is actually, it's not picking. Why? Okay, so ideally it should run 3 test cases. Okay, I think we have to add this one also. Okay, because the before should be closed here, right? We were not closing the before. Now let's save it and let's run it again. This time it should execute 3 test cases. See, now unlock the barn, put the toilet seat down, and the chicken feed test, absolutely working fine like that. Okay guys, and before each and every test, before each method will be executed. If you want to add one more test, you just keep adding it over here, right? So very simple, very straightforward. You can use it like that. So this is about the OAuth 2.0. This is how you maintain the test cases, design a basic level of API automation, get the token, get the API user ID, and then use the same user ID in the token for upcoming API calls. That's all for this particular video, guys. I see you in the next video. Till then, take care and God bless you all.